Yeah, let me put some mic on. First thing. Okay, Scooter Tramps and Chopper Jockeys, it's 9 p.m. on the East Coast, 9-ish, and that means it's time for another episode of Shop Talk. Here we are in the Russ Brown Motorcycle Attorney Studio, getting ready for another great show, and oh my God, that's not Ken. So we have a guest host tonight. Ken is off taking care of some business for himself, and we are lucky enough to be joined by Patrick Garvin from JP Cycles. What's up, man?
Hey man, really appreciate you guys having me. I'm just I'm a better looking version of Ken, I think.
The only thing I'll say is the stash doesn't quite hold up. Sorry, Ken's mustache is the talk of the town.
Yep. Dude, it's straight on porn star, right? I mean, come on.
I don't have the machismo to pull that off.
You got to be Ron Burgundy to drop that shit. So Shop Talk is coming to you, like I said, from the Russ Brown Motorcycle Attorney Studios. If this is your first time watching Shop Talk, this is a little thing that we do every week where we go through the news, we interview some motorcycle people, and talk about some motorcycle stuff. All in all, it adds up to 90 to 120 minutes sometimes of good times in the motorcycle industry. We also multicast this out, not just as a podcast at the end of it all, but through YouTube Live, Facebook Live, Twitter Live, Twitch TV, and we encourage you to not just be an observer. You can put your comments in like Jeff Quilty just did. What's up, fellas? Hey, Heather, what's up, Jeff? Good to see you here. And if that's not good enough, we even have the lovely Heather sitting off to my right.
Hiya.
Who will bring up your comments for us. So
unless they're mean.
Stay in the game, man. So first thing up, I want to talk about JP Cycles. This is a big year for JP, and that was one of the things of having you on. Other than the fact that we know we don't have to worry about how our guest host is going to be tonight because you're a pro at this. We continually learn stuff from you about broadcasting and speaking, so that part's handled. But I was excited because we get to sit here with you now and talk some more about what's going on this year.
Yeah, man, it's a big year for J&P with the 40th and everything, and just us trying to. I think the big thing with J&P, and this kind of got brought about with us shooting some 40th anniversary stuff, is we just want to keep like fostering the motorcycle community. You know what I mean? Like anything we can do to be involved and do more things and encourage people to get out and ride. So that's kind of our modus operandi here. And when you guys had me on a few weeks ago, I mentioned. Some things like that we were doing, but yeah, man, I mean, that's what we want to do is me personally, I love the events. I love, the Laughlins, the Daytonas, but I think things where you actually get to go out and ride motorcycles and just, be the missionaries of how awesome being on a motorcycle is.
Now this brings us to the next thing, which actually breaks my heart because I have a much shorter bucket list today than I ever had before. But that brings us to, like, when you said the riding at events and stuff, you're getting ready to do something with JP, but man, it's been on my bucket list forever.
Yeah, EDR. Those Biltwell guys know how to party, and I've been meaning to do this since 2015. They only do it every other year, so we're leaving here in about a week or so. And the cherry on top is I'll be riding an FTR 1200 down there. Indeed, they were kind enough to lend that bike to us, and I jumped at the chance to check it out, man. So I'm pretty stoked. Me and my videographer Steve are gonna leave here, and we're gonna kind of take the long way down. We're gonna go from here, drop down into Moab, camp there, go down to the South Rim of the Grand Canyon, camp there, then head on over to Temecula and go to San Felipe with the Biltwell guys.
Well, I'm going to make the invitation right off the bat here that if you want to shoot us some clips on your travels, we'll make sure to get them up on our social media to let guys be able to follow along with you, because that's a hell of a trip.
I thought you were going to invite him to let you go in his place.
It's not going to happen.
You're more than welcome. You want to come out here, man?
There's no way it's going to happen, but that's good.
My tent's small, but we could probably both fit.
That's an ugly picture.
It's really bad.
Two big hairy asses rolling around in the middle of the night.
Okay. I don't need that picture in my head. Thank you.
So listen, man, you
would
can
like to
see
sleep
the
tonight.
the social media is filling up with comments. We appreciate that. The one thing that you can do to further Shop Talk and all that we do is the little share button. You can share this thing onto your page. Tell your friends about it. It's happening every Thursday night at 9 p.m. We're super proud that this is like a truly unique and an energetic thing that we're doing, and you guys are making that happen. So thank you very much for that. I think we can pretty much from this, we can roll on to a little thing we like to call the news. Okay, first up in the news tonight, Harley-Davidson, as we reported last week, did not yet have a contract in place for its unionized workers. This week, it's reported by Reuters that unionized workers in Milwaukee and Tomahawk, Wisconsin, on Monday ratified a new 5-year labor agreement with a 14% wage increase over the life of the contract. The agreement in place at all of its Wisconsin operations also include a signing bonus, 2 separate variable incentive plans, pension enhancements for current employees, and a retirement incentive. So good news for the USW workers there. We congratulate them on getting that handled, man. I know there's nothing more stressful. I mean, I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. There's nothing more stressful than the factory going on strike. We did notice on this little clip here from NASDAQ that we picked up, there's a little accompanying video, so we're going to take a look at this because the headline immediately grabs your attention. Trump's trade tariffs are greatly damaging profits for Harley. Okay, so I'm not entirely sure who put the little ditty together, but it only tells a very small part of the story. I mean, it's complicated. The motorcycle business in general right now is complicated. Harley-Davidson, with or without the tariffs, is feeling a lot of the same growing pains right now that so many of us are. You know, so that was a unique opportunity for someone to jump on a political stage, which we're not going to do here. So before you guys start sending in this side, that side, we're not doing that. But as far as Harley-Davidson's ups and downs being tied entirely to the things that went on with taxes, I think there's way more than that. And I think nothing makes that more evident than how critically they are approaching outreach right now. You know, they're looking for new avenues. They're looking for new riders. They're looking for a new direction.
So, you know, something that I just read maybe 2 weeks ago, the MIC data came out for 2018, and I was looking back over the rider demographics. They have them all the way back to 1990, and, you know, we're all in the industry after new riders for sure because, you know, we're so heavily, you know, but currently the huge percentage, over 70%, I think, is 40 and over. But what I noticed was if you go back all the way back to 90, is that wasn't like that. So basically, you had, these aren't hard numbers. You had like 30% over 40, and then everything under that was about 15% apiece.
Yeah.
Well, as you come forward through the years to now, those numbers below 40 are single-digit numbers, which to me meant all those people that were riding in their teens, 20s, and 30s kept riding, but we didn't backfill them.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So the problem is, like, you know, we're not getting them. We didn't backfill ourselves. We didn't do a good job of getting the word out. Now,
here's something that's an interesting paradigm that we've reached, because a lot of people believe one of the things that's missing from a lot of the industry's approach to this is the fact that if you keep your core invigorated, that does half of the work for you for the outreach to the next generation, the next customer, whatever. So I kind of feel like there are some companies like you guys are super active in everything and racing and riding and camping out. And I think there's more personal responsibility needs to be taken across the board for that, because nothing attracts new people like, them watching us have a good time.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%, man. And the other thing, which I'm going to kind of bag on people a little bit, and the shameless plug for Countermeasure here, I just kind of wrote something about this. I've been noticing this more. I mean, and I'm guilty too of the stigmas. If you've been on a motorcycle for a while, you tend to pigeonhole people. And in the motorcycle industry, I feel like we love to label things. Love to label them choppers, bobbers, cafe racers, street trackers. We love to put labels on things, and that's fine. But I think what we do with that is we can scare off people. You know what I mean? If you're not wearing the right gear, or if what the running joke is Sportsters, which I love, it's a girl's bike, you kind of get looked down on. I think we got to be a little more kumbaya about the thing and be a little more inviting to get people in, because you definitely don't want to draw a hard line in the sand and not and scare people off.
You mean the kind of inclusionary attitude that the old guys used to have when we were coming up?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
No, but seriously, it's a different world today. I mean, that shit probably wouldn't fly. But
I wish it would. Yeah, they didn't scare me off for sure. But normally, if they did something like but I'm kind of a psycho. If you did something crazy, I'm like, I want to try that.
Right on. So we got time probably for one more news piece. This also from Harley Davidson. There has been by MSN. A little leak of the upcoming Harley-Davidson V-twin engine revealed in one of their patents. Like we just talked about, Harley-Davidson has been, critical on outreach. The electric motorcycle is just ahead of it. Stuff with the Street Fighter coming out, the Pan America model. There's a lot of new coming from Harley-Davidson. This new motor now, they're saying is going to be showing up on some of those new platforms. I think, for my money, this is in line with Harley-Davidson looking for those 2 million new customers. Like, they're going to have to adapt more of this modular, Art Deco kind of European, Asian influence motorcycle if that's going to happen, because a lot of those customers are going to come from those other bikes.
I agree. I'm super stoked on all those bikes. Even the adventure touring one, people are kind of raising an eyebrow at. My only concern is that, when you jump in those arenas, which I'm really glad they are, are you gonna be able to compete with the price points? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I'm a huge fan of the Yamaha FZ09, which that Street Fighter is going to be directly matched against. Are they going to match that price point? Because if everything is tit for tat, you got to come with the dollar sign too.
Well, and I got to say something too, man. Like, this is, again, not to keep preaching the gospel of Core, but I'm a Core customer. I'm 49 years old this year, and I'm at that place where I'm about to reach the super consumer status. For me, I have a bunch of choppers. I have a panhead chopper, shovelhead chopper, Sportster choppers. I have a Bonneville bike now. I would seriously look at that Street Fighter. I would own that motorcycle. I would take that to track day and whoop ass and be so proud that it had 100%. A Harley bar and shield on it. I can't even tell you. But I feel like some of their efforts now, it kind of overlooks that Core.
Yeah, I'm with you. I would, they could even get away with a few things. They can get away with a little bit more expensive and a little bit less in the performance. I'm with you, to be on that bike and to show the taillight to a Yamaha or to a KTM with that bar and shield there. That's just cool. I'm with you. I'm in the market.
Tim Kern says, am I hoarding? And brother, listen, it's not that I'm hoarding. Like, I established a long time ago, I was ready to give up drugs and alcohol for my motorcycle addiction. And I did those gladly just to be able to have a panhead in place of that and a dirt bike. And I have fun on motorcycles, man. It's a good thing. It's a long time ago, somebody told me, get your kids involved in motorcycles. They won't have money for drugs or alcohol. You'll be all set. Yeah,
100%. Yeah, and I am hoarding as many motorcycles as I can.
No such thing as too many motorcycles.
And God, I love that woman. Every time she says that,
dude.
She gets sexier to me. Man. Right? So listen, man, it's a couple minutes past when we said we were going to have our first guest on. So with that, we're going to switch gears here real quick. And we're going to call up our first guest, who's Mr. Howard Kelly.
Hello.
Hey, Howard, you're live with ShopTalk. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, buddy, what's going on?
Oh, we're doing time, man. We're doing time.
I'm turning off your broadcast so we won't get feedback.
There you go.
Professional and all that.
So,
all right. So first, I was listening to you guys. Pat, you're 1,000,000% right, and I was preaching that 15 years ago in the magazines that we're a niche within a niche within a niche, and if we keep doing that, we're only going to shrink our market.
Amen.
Yep. Yeah, 100%.
Now tell me how I was wrong.
Now, second thing I'll tell you, Chris, is I was doing that on racetracks with Buells when they first came out, so I don't want to hear any crap about it.
No, wait a minute. Me too. And when remember when Harley came out with the V-Rod? It was like the first street rod had like a more European riding position.
I rode it to Sturgis, remember?
I took that to track days and had it 3 wide with like SVTs and shit, man. Blew their minds. They were like, who is this great big guy on this giant motorcycle? Because at the time I was like 320 pounds.
So you were having fun.
Absolutely. And that's what I'm saying. I would have fun on that Street Fighter today too, you know? Like I think Harley needs to appreciate that our generation is that crossover point where we have dirt bikes, we have Street Fighter motorcycles, track bikes, like, you know, we're cross addicted, as it were.
I would love, and I know this is going to sound funny, but I'd love to see another Harley buyout.
Oh.
Just like they did in the AMF days. I'd love to see them buy out their current stockholders and go back to an enthusiast ownership brand.
Do you think it's possible?
And watch what happened, just like when the Evo came out.
In today's climate, do you think something like that's even possible, or have we reached a place?
I just said I would like to see it.
Yeah.
I didn't say it was possible, but right now we know, right? They've got 5-year lead times on designs because of all the engineering and all the marketing and all the stuff they have to do, and they're 5 years behind the curve all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the bikes, you know, the Street Rod came out, and I've ridden that, and not super impressed. But I did get a chance to spend some time in the spring last year on the Street Rod, which has much steeper, you know, neck angle and a few more ponies, and that was on the cusp of becoming a good motorcycle.
Yeah,
I think they're right there. I just think they got to be competitive, you know, on the price side of things. Like, you know, the mystique doesn't quite justify the price tag anymore.
Yeah,
you're absolutely right. Absolutely right.
Well, Howard, the reason we had you on tonight is we started a new column in the magazine. You were gracious enough to jump on that for us. And anybody who's wondering what we're talking about here, you can pull up on our Facebook page real quick Howard's complete article from this month's magazine. It's a column called One Man's Opinion, and Howard's title was "If It's on the Internet, It Must Be True." I'm going to put it up over here to the side as we're talking about this. But you know, this column is specifically to deal with the stuff that we don't regularly get into from our editorial perspective. And this was pure gold. Like you had told me that you were going to write something, and we just kind of off the cuff. And man, when it came in, I was like, you said to me, "Are you printing that?" And I was like, "I'm absolutely printing that." So go ahead and go over your position, and we're going to bring some comments in as you get started.
Right on. So it's really simple, right? And I hate to be the guy that goes back to those days, but when I was involved with Hot Bike and Street Chopper and even back to the Hot Rod Harleys and Hot Rod Bikes days, that was right as the internet was trying to kind of break in as something, right? And there was a difference when we would do any kind of test or review or article on something. We were this tangible thing. We were a publishing company. We could be sued for libel. We could be sued for the words that we said. So we were pretty straight up. And you can go and talk to some of the guys that used to run things like Big Dog and BMC and all the other bike builders, right? When I would have a bike of theirs to test and it would be a brand new model, almost every one of them had me send a bike back to them and say, "Look, this thing isn't right." And if I write the test on this thing, I'm going to shred it because this is wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong, and that's wrong. And they would go back and fix it. And I felt that the motorcycle industry deserved that opportunity from somebody that I used to think I knew what I was doing, but they could, take what I said, because I rode motorcycles more than most people back then, and I would say this is wrong, or this part doesn't work, or this thing isn't it, so I'm not going to put it in the magazine. Whereas the internet crowd would get a hold of something that was bad, and, I made up that name, whatever it was, Badass Billy V-Twin, or whatever I said that internet name was. But they would be some anonymous person that you wouldn't know who they were, where they were from, what their credentials were, where they stood from, but they would tell you that some part was bad. Now, the reality was, in most of those cases, it might have been a performance part, it might have been a something, and maybe they put a big set of heads on an 80-inch Evo with a small cam. Well, these suck. Well, of course they suck, idiot. You're not putting a balanced package on. But you're not representing the product properly. But what you are doing is creating a bunch of bad press and a bad image for a guy that's busting his balls to make a business.
Yeah.
And it was rampant in the beginning. It was rampant. It was terrible. And I used to write articles in the magazine slamming it. Everybody said, oh, you're afraid of the internet. I'm like, I'm not afraid of the internet. We have a website. What I'm afraid of is people lying and people not being legit. I don't care if you don't like something, great. Maybe it's saving somebody a lot of money because it really was a bad part. But be legit, be real, be able to verify who you are.
I think for a large part of that too is as a journalist, as you're coming up, you realize that on top of entertaining and the things that we get to do, there's a huge responsibility in your participation and what you bring to the table. And like you said, there's nothing better for a healthy industry than an educated consumer, right? But there's nothing more dangerous to it than a misinformed consumer.
Yeah.
So it's a double-edged sword.
I think to take that a little farther, and this is going to maybe sound a little weird coming from me because of, how deeply I'm kind of rooted in a lot of social media stuff, but I've been thinking a lot about this, and I think social media has made what you're talking about worse because you have a lot of people on there, they're, lovingly called influencers. Well, they may be really good at reaching people, and they may be, fun to look at. Well, then they're given a certain amount of street cred in a specific industry for the wrong reasons. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then to newer people, they are viewed as experts. And so whatever their trash opinion may be gets passed off as the truth when that's not what they're good at. They're good at reaching people and getting eyeballs on them for whatever filter they use in their camera. But if they're involved in a certain industry, it gives them street cred, and then automatically they're experts on something they actually don't know anything about.
Right, which is kind of exactly what I talked about in that piece that I wrote.
Yeah.
An influencer doesn't necessarily mean they're a subject matter expert.
Exactly.
What they are is good at manipulating social media numbers. Now, anybody that's going to send comments in, if you're legit, you're legit. Like I was talking to Michael Bland the other day, and he was telling me about his social media reach and what he can do with it. And I said, you know what, Mike? You have earned that reputation. You deserve to be able to do that.
Yeah.
But,
yeah,
I bought a bike 2 years ago, and I took a bunch of cool pictures and got people to follow me, and suddenly I get free handlebars. No offense to the handlebar manufacturers. I'm not picking on you. But, all of a sudden, everybody wants, because this guy says so. But what if they're crappy handlebars?
Yeah.
What if they're not what they're supposed to be?
No.
Yeah, that's the other thing that comes with, the social media double-edged sword. You get a lot of reach. You have companies, if you're an influencer and, companies reach out to you, especially if you're trying to make a living that way. Well, then the incentive to maybe promote a bad product just to pay your rent is there.
Yeah, buddy.
Yes. Yes, and then I'm going back to the old days, but I got a salary whether I wrote good or bad things about people's products. But my thing when I was doing the magazine to be informative, what I wanted to do was empower a customer to know enough to walk into a shop and not be intimidated.
Yeah.
So when we did those how-to articles, right, unless it was something simple like we're changing some Arlen Ness mirrors, we went to a shop The reason we went to a shop, it was an expert, and an expert was going to show tips and tricks, or more importantly, show the proper tools you needed to do the job the right way.
Oh my God, I can remember. So a lot of people don't know this, but when I first got to the National Newsstand, Howard Kelly took me under his wing and taught me so much about being more responsible. And that was one of my first lessons, not the very first one. I'm not going to talk about the first one because it was humbling. But one of the first ones after that was to identify tools and procedure. And I mean, like he really, I had to stop and think about the fact that there were so many things that I took for granted because I just knew. I knew what I was going to grab. I knew what it takes to do this job. And, you know, and Howard said, you gotta slow down and you got to write it for everybody. You know, it was great.
Yeah, I think you touched on something there too with education. I mean, I think a lot of people, a lot of shops, or a lot of, you know, even the .coms have that famine thinking where they want to hold everything close. And that's one thing I'm proud of at J&P is we spend a lot of time, myself personally, and I spend a lot of J&P's money making how-to videos and educational videos just to give consumers that confidence you're talking about. Like, I think that's key. I mean, you'll get a better customer. You don't have to like hide that from somebody. Show them how to do it. You have a customer for life.
Yeah.
Well, remember too, when I was doing this stuff, right, it was the height of the $10,000 surcharge to even buy a Harley and the waiting list and all of that stuff, right? And the people that were buying the bikes, by and large, were the people everybody laughed at, right? Never owned a motorcycle before, but they're going to have a Harley because having a Harley is cool, or you know those people. And I, at the same time, like we were just talking about earlier, I didn't want to lose them as riders. I wanted them to stay. I also tested safety gear for that reason, which I took a ton of crap about. But, you know, I would tell them what they needed to know to go into a shop and not sound like a noob, not sound like they don't know that they want a cam, a carburetor, and pipes because it's got to be a balanced system. Mm-hmm. Right? Yeah. Like giving them the empowerment not to feel stupid was so important. And then you have the internet guys who just, I put this on and it sucks, or watch my YouTube video and you'll see how this product doesn't work.
Stay away from that, bro.
And you know, I've made videos, right? I've made commercials, I've made videos, I've made promo things. I know how to edit. I can make anything look good or anything look bad.
No.
So at the very least, when we went and did that stuff and doing it with a shop, what we were doing was putting credibility into it. And that's why I said in that article, right, you know, if the shop that you're dealing with isn't in a magazine, why is that? Right? Because magazines, even though there's a few, and I commend you, Chris, for still being there, you guys still, as publishers, you still need content. And if I'm Johnny's Hot Rod Motorcycle Shop, and I do something way bitchin', if I'm not letting you know about it and trying to get it in your magazine, that's my fault.
Yeah.
Right? Because I still want the endorsement of a magazine. I still want, you know, somebody that's considered legit talking about what I do and what my product is.
Here's some comments coming in. First of all, Daryl Huxall, Howard the Willie King Kelly, good evening from Minnesota. Tim Kearns talks about honest, proven experience will help the customers and the vendors. Drew Woodford, like the companies that rely on celebrity endorsements instead of real riders. Right, David Campbell, the right tools, half the battle. Nina Humphrey, this is
Johnny. You know Johnny 99. Yeah.
People can't seem to see through the smoke and mirrors of this new World Wide Web and social media. Can an absolute clueless person with money to spend on a knucklehead build and boom, they're a custom builder, Johnny 99 Customs. Yeah, that's, you know, a lot that we're talking about. Not to just make all of this about negativity, because let's face it, man. You know, today when there's something that I don't know, I immediately turn to the forums and the how-to videos, and you know, when I want to learn something about a product, it's all there. You know, but there's got to be something that qualifies it.
You know,
well, there's got to be multiple same opinions.
Right.
Yeah. Both of you guys, and Chris, you know, obviously you're kind of in the long form information, you know, space. Obviously, I personally think we're heading back to long form information. You know what I mean? Because it's more substantial. I mean, I think there's still obviously social media is at its height and the reach is good and that's the big net, right? But getting that net back to use, to come back to give people long form, real information.
Well, like everybody always says that thing about you can't put Pandora back in the box. I believe that social media and the internet has changed publishing forever, and I believe that the need for credibility and reliable sources is going to redefine social media by the end of it. I think in the center there, a company that really takes on the vigor of being a publisher in today's climate. And I'm not saying this like I don't want anybody to say, oh, I'm promoting myself, but this is what it takes. You know what I mean? It takes participation on all levels, because that's where it's at today. And you have to be like, look, this is my face right here. My address in the magazine, that's where I'm at right now. That's where I work from. It's that kind of acceptance of the responsibility that goes along with all of this. That the next decade is gonna be the judge of everything that we've done here.
And I want anybody that's listening to understand, I have nothing, and I mean nothing, against social media. I love social media. I love being able to follow somebody's trip when they're going somewhere, and every couple hours they're posting a picture of something they're seeing or doing. I love it for that. And I am also the first person, when I don't know how to fix something, first thing I do is jump on YouTube and look it up and see who's done it. But what I do is I watch 3 different people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because then I know there's a consistency somewhere in it.
You find the variables that are held constant.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you're kind of apologizing for self-promotion, but I think you should. I mean, especially in today's climate. I mean, that's, the ability to self-promote is there, and I think you have to do that now. Whether it's you feel kind of self-conscious about it, or if it's egregious, but you got to do it. I mean, if you don't toot your horn nowadays, nobody else is gonna, because they're tooting their own.
That's the truth. Well, listen, Howard, man, we appreciate you coming on. I'm going to let everybody know that the entire article is there on Facebook. We're looking for more feedback. We want to have a conversation about this. That's the whole point of us devoting this section of the magazine, is to bring up topics like this and encourage you guys to talk about it with us. Howard will surely watch the traffic feed on that, and he'll be there to comment also, or we'll pass those comments on to him. But Howard, you're a good friend of the whole program here, man. I really appreciate your time.
Hey, I love being on. You guys have a great night. Enjoy the rest of what you're doing. I'm going to go mow my lawn and then check comments after that.
Right on, buddy. Take it easy.
Take care, guys.
So before we get too far, I do want to read this comment from David Eberly. I'm not sure if I said that right. If I didn't, I apologize. It says, guys, as a newer writer, this whole conversation is the proverbial cool drink of water. I appreciate the dialogue about retaining writers, promoting a continuance of culture, and a willingness to instruct and include. Thanks for what you do in keeping the focus. So that's awesome.
Oh, yeah, that's great.
So rolling up to our next guest, we're going to take a 2-second break here and do some business for the show. Actually, not some business for the show. This is for you guys. We're going to bring in some new products from our buddies over at V-Twin Visionary. Mr. Holt, take it away.
Hey, it's Jeff G. Holt from V-Twin Visionary, and I know you are saying to yourself, what the hell is this? Well, a company called Dexterous Engineering up in Utah have what's called a Tabori tank system. You tell him what model the bike is going on, he will custom make a block for you to shave and sand and come up with the exact shape you want. You send him this buck back and he will make you a tank to match. It's an ingenious thing. I can't build a tank myself, but I can do this and get exactly what I want. We're going to be doing a shaved down Dyna, kind of a drag bike. It needs a different tank. So I told him that. He made the backbone fit. Everything's super cool. And I'm going to get to shaving this. You guys will get to see the progress of this. I can't wait for this to be done. Dexterous Engineering, such a killer idea. Tabori tank system, good stuff.
Right on. Thanks a lot, Jeff. So our next guest, Mr. John Shope, is launching what looks to be like You know, just the height of, hey, I want to get all my buddies together, do cool shit, and have a program about it, right?
Oh man,
Isn't that how Jackass started?
yeah,
Sorry.
Wait, it's how Nitro Circus started too.
yeah. It's how Nitro. That's how a lot of things started. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
So we're gonna reach out to Mr. Shope. We released the first episode of his program. It's coming out all the time, weekly. But we're gonna get with him and let him tell you all about it. Let's go to the phone, see if we can grab Mr. Shope.
Bird's the word.
John, how you doing, man? You're live on Shop Talk.
Bird's the word, baby.
Bird is the word. The bird.
Bird's the bird. Hey, I got the little birds in the back. Say hi, little birds. That's the 3 little birds, mini birds.
So I don't know if you were listening. If that was, were we talking before? We were talking pre-show, huh?
Yeah.
And Heather was actually talking about how she, you know, in these last couple of weeks with the launch of your program and stuff, we've spent an awful lot of time all over your social media and checking things out. And man, it is completely clear how much you love your family. Like what a good man must be underneath all of this because of the love that you show for them.
Yeah, there's a little bit of love here and there.
Yeah. Right on. So we got some stills from the show, but why don't you tell everybody about what you have going on?
So, as everybody knows, cable is kind of dying. Streaming is where it's at. So Rollins is part of this. He's in the background. He can't appear on the show, but a lot of people don't like the guy, but he's a really good guy. And none of this could have happened without him. So, and Hangar 56 is a production company. But anyway, so what's happened is we've started this show called Flippin' Dirty Bird. And if you go on Facebook and punch it in and like it, it'll keep you up to date on everything. But every Thursday there's a half-hour show that comes on, and one car gets done. You know, we buy it, paint it. It's not a chip foose, rotisserie restoration. We do a few things to it and send it on down the road. And then a bike gets done too. So it takes 3 episodes for a bike to get done. But my plan is to flip it around after this first season and make the bikes the first episode, the A story, if you will.
Now, one of the parts that I like about this right off the bat is the fact that you guys are adapting to the new climate, and the place where you're going to flip these things is the Facebook Marketplace.
Yes, Facebook loves it. These guys are so smart. I mean, I'm super blessed to be able to pioneer. I mean, we've got some other guys that want to get off of Motor Trend and follow this model. So as this is working, I mean, the second episode just off of my followers got 100,000 views already. I mean, that's right in 4 hours. I mean, it's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, even like Harley Davidson with the Mama Tried model really kind of proved how good that can be. I mean, the views that Harley Davidson Facebook page gets just from the Mama Tried races is, I think, more than the total of like Fans Choice for AFT. So and the ability to get eyeballs is going to be huge, and Facebook Marketplace is blowing up. I know people that don't have Facebook pages that are getting Facebook pages just to use Facebook Marketplace because Craigslist is dying and everybody's moving over to Facebook Marketplace.
Same with eBay. Yeah. So if you don't have Facebook, just go get it just to watch the show. It's just Flippin' Dirty Bird, or you can go like our Dirty Bird Concepts page. But man, the sad thing is the bike audience isn't enough to fuel a show. So what our plan is to get the muscle car guys and stuff, because we're all kind of the same, to like us and sift through the bikes. Like right now the bike guys are going to sift through the car stuff, and maybe they like it, maybe they don't, to get to the bike part. Well, we want to flip it around where they'll sift through the bike stuff to get to the car stuff, and that's the end goal. And I was against it. I said, listen, the car flipping's cool, we do it, but the bikes is the love, that's the passion. And they said, well, let's just bear with us. So I'm bearing with them, and so far it's it's pretty badass. We include the family. You'll see in the next 5 episodes that everything has something with my kids or my wife or just some fun stuff.
Well, that's I think there's a perfect crossover point though. Like, the name of my shop, my little after hours deal is Flat Broke Chops and Rods, and I think there's so many of us that are just, we're gas heads, man. If you can burn fuel with it, we're down. We want to chop it up.
That's awesome.
There's no bike guy that's going to turn his nose up at a cool hot rod ever.
Right?
Nope.
Yeah, right.
Well, let's take 2 seconds here and let's look at I'm going to run the promo reel so we can give people a better look at this thing.
Is that the Charger?
Yeah. Yep.
That's my 13-year-old kid's Charger.
Right on. Well, let's check this out.
Thank you.
My name is John Shope, and I like to work with my hands. And I love anything and everything with a motor. I created Dirty Bird Concepts and made a name for myself building one-of-a-kind bikes. In my line of work, I come across all kinds of things I want to buy. That's where this guy comes in. He's a walking encyclopedia.
340 numbers match and pistol grip 4-speed. Can it get any better?
And on this show, I'm going to take what we find, fix it up, and sell it all on Facebook Marketplace.
Hey, what do you guys think?
I'm looking for people to share my passion, who want amazing rides that are priced right and fun to drive. Get ready for Flippin' Dirty Bird.
Okay, so right off the bat, I got to ask you, what is the coolest find that you got so far? That, I mean, you guys are going to make anything into something cool, but what's the coolest find? Like that truck. I would have loved to found that truck.
Yeah, I think the coolest find is that old Corvette.
Yeah?
Yeah. Wait till you see it. That's one of the cars we did in one of the episodes. I think it's the final episode, but it's pretty. I like it when we find something, we throw a quick paint job on, maybe we change the wheels, maybe the motor was blown, and we can move it. And it's not about making 10 grand off it or whatever. And if somebody else can get the car, for 20 grand or whatever the car sells for, and they could work on it from there, or they could enjoy it. And that's kind of, we didn't want to do the $100,000 untouchable crap that nobody can afford. Right. I think I think it's a good formula. And I grew up with these cars. I had GTOs and all this stuff all my life. It's not like I'm faking this,
Yeah, I think that's key with, like I said, not putting these vehicles out of reach and kind of leaving them available to the everyman. I think that's a great model.
Yeah. And then the bikes, the bikes don't get sold on Facebook Marketplace. They're already bikes we're building, but you get to see what I really do to make my money. And the bitchin' bikes, like, in these 6 episodes, 2 bikes get done. One is a Softail, one of our Dirty Tails, and one is a CVO. And it's not a big spaceship, pile of shit that can't turn corners. It's, everything went too far there, buddy. I didn't watch Star Wars growing up, so.
Well, listen, let's talk about the Dirty Tail for a minute, because just, coincidentally enough, you just helped us complete what I believe was the up and coming everyman's platform. We took a 1991 Softail and used your Dirty Tail kit and made, for Twisted Tea, we built this incredible lowrider motorcycle. And here's a bike that we bought for $2,500. That once we took the crud away from it, it had a good, 113-inch or 111-inch S&S motor. It had a good 6-speed tranny. Like, it had all this good stuff, but it was just an old funky Softail, and some of that stuff you guys are doing now, man, you can really trick these things out.
Yeah, you guys did a phenomenal job on that bike, by the way. I was super
thanks,
excited.
Man.
And the what do you call it? You gave me the feedback and in the magazine and everything. I mean, second to none. You guys. There's a reason why your magazine is one of the only ones left, buddy.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
An honest day, but it's good stuff that you're doing, man. I believe that's like you just said about that, letting somebody have enough that they can still do something, helping them, give them that platform and then encourage them to get in there, man, and let them get in at a price where they can do something too. That's what made all of this shit cool.
Yeah. Well, so the first season, I just want to let everybody know, we did this on fumes. So and the goal is to get some bigger sponsors, which we have. But even though I would have to honor whatever I did with the sponsors, if like Matt Risley gave me a center stand, I made sure that they mention it in the show. Nick Trask did the motor. I'm part of the editing, so I make sure they don't cut out. You know how these Discovery shows are not. I'm not pointing my fingers, but these TV shows, everybody gets all this stuff for free, and then you're sitting there waiting for your time to shine or your little moment to get a little credit for what you donated, and they cut it out. They edit it out. So Dirty Air sent us an air ride. I made sure that we showed how it worked, and if you send us something or we do something on the show, I'm in control of it. So that's another thing that's just a huge. If I came to your shop, they wouldn't cut it out. You know what I mean, bro?
Yeah, and I think that's another huge thing about the platform you're going with, man, is the latitude to be able to do things like that. Years back with JMP, we actually did, we were part of an Extreme Home Makeover show, and we built a couple of bikes, and just to get our logo shown on the show, it was $50,000 in either cash or, like labor. You had to prove you had $50,000 into the project. And, there's all those loopholes with, classical network shows, but, going your route like this, you can kind of do it how you want. And man, giving those shout outs to those dudes that helped you is huge for them.
Yeah, like they would blur out people's banners, and if I wore a Cycle Source shirt in the show, they would blur it out. I mean, that isn't happening with this. So I mean, I hope the more people that follow us and watch it and sift through the stuff and bear with us, I have some really great people behind me, and I mean, this is gonna pave the way for other people to take the chance and do this and really do good. It's gonna grow the industry, the car,
absolutely,
and the bikes. So
absolutely,
I'm super excited. I got a lot of anxiety, but
we're gonna keep you guys. We're going to keep posting every time a new episode comes out. We're going to keep it going out for everybody that's following us. But why don't you tell everybody how they can keep track of this?
Hey, you know what? My butt just puckered. Because we're driving right now, and this state trooper just came flying up behind us, right on our ass. And I'm just looking in the rearview mirror, and then all of a sudden, boom! He hits his blinker and goes around. I'm like, whoo!
Jesus.
There's an episode right now. Tight cheeks.
Well, I'm just thinking that would have been good for the ratings of Shop Talk.
My God!
That shit that happened live on air. I hate to be like that.
Every time that happens, I'm like, should I floor it or should I pull over? That I can't get that out of my head, no matter how old I get. Yeah. Floor it or pull over.
Oh man, yeah, you're not going to get rid of fight or flight ever. I think that stays around forever.
Yeah, I pull over these days, but I got some good stories. Hey, I want to mention something else too that's really sad. Jesse Rook just passed away. Man. God damn, you guys.
We talked about that last week, dude. That is so sad.
So I went to just for the people that didn't get to go, man, I went to his funeral yesterday. I went with Carrie Hart, and Roland Sands showed up, and a lot of guys showed up, man, that traveled, rode their bikes. Rusty from D&D rode all the way from Texas. I mean, they had some of Jesse's stuff in there, and some people spoke. Paul Tracy came, and I mean, a lot of people didn't really understand Jesse or get him, and I didn't at first either. But man, over the last 3 or 4 years, he'd come by my shop with his new gadgets, and he just loved my kids. And the guy, I just don't know. I just can't accept it, dude. We just drove by where he crashed, and there's a Rook sign there, dude. It just. Oh, and one more thing. His brother tells me when I show up there that Scarlett was dressing, helping pick out his clothes, and she grabbed my Dirty Bird socks and said these were Dad's favorites. So
oh my God!
Oh, that dude! I almost went into a I mean, I'm kind of a pussy, you know, when it comes to, you know, I'll cry easy, you know, so, but I just, man, I hope everybody just be safe on their bikes, man. Wear your helmets. Watch out for these people texting and driving. I mean, we can't lose.
Joke. It's no
anymore.
joke.
Yeah. Darn it.
No,
yeah, that's a really surreal one. We just talked to him in Daytona and hung out for a little bit, and then you're right. It's hard to accept. I mean, you don't expect a guy like that just to not be there all of a sudden.
I still can't accept it. I'm just like, you know, because I didn't see it. That's what that's how I do it, dude. I don't go to the open thing. If I don't see you there, you know, pass away, then you know what? Show me, because you know, that's kind of how I deal with it. And I think a lot of people do, you know, don't look at them after they passed away. That's my advice. But anyway, we'll get off that subject and get back to.
Well, there's a lot of great comments, man, coming in for you. We got the social media comments coming up, and Daryl Huxell says the internet's silver lining is shows like John's that will put major media fat cats on blast. That shit changing, and real content is making a major comeback.
Yeah, that's awesome, bro.
So thanks, Flippin' Dirty Bird is blessed to have a very talented crew. Real content, no fake shit for Phil. Ray's on. What's up, Ray? Big ups to Jesse. Love for Scarlett. So sad.
Oh man.
You know, I'm sorry that I don't know the name.
In the rig, dude. I got my eyes are tearing up. A little bit of sandstorm just came in.
I don't know the name of the cat, but I just saw on social media somebody's doing limited prints to raise money for.
That's
kids.
Bitchin' Ink is doing those shirts and prints. I got to get one of those, and then
we're gonna put a link
Epic.
up.
Yeah, Jim and Epic did some shirts too with the halo with the little rook thing, man. But yeah, you know, the only thing on my show is they do have me say some things. They'd be pissed if I said this. Like when I said, I'm coming for you, Vin Diesel.
Yeah.
I mean, that's funny, dude. But I don't know. I guess it's all right, you know. But if you know me, I wouldn't say that. I'd start cussing, and it'd be a whole different dialogue. But pretty much, I get to say whatever I get to be myself. And I think they said something about the bumblebee to make this bee fly or something. I mean, I don't know. I'm cool with it. I fought them all the way though. Yeah. You know, they tell me, hey, well, just throw this in. It'll be funny, you know, the Pesh mode or something. I'm like, I don't even know who you know. But once I saw it, I was like, man, they really know what they're doing.
Right.
So
yeah, smoke and mirrors of it, man.
Yeah.
I just have a visual of whoever has to come over to John to ask him to say a line.
Yeah, right. Well, you know what's funny is Richard came out and bought he's building a bullet car for next season, and he bought the Mustang from me and Jeff. And when he comes out there, he starts like dogging me, saying, this thing's all messed up. And I said, it'll buff out, bro. You know, because nobody
buff out.
Yeah, nobody gives him shit. And this thing's just a shell. And then he said, well, how about, you know, $15,000? I said, well, how about I walk you to the gate? You know, and hopefully they don't cut that out. But all his film crew was laughing because he's the boss, dude. You really don't fuck with Richard on the set. You know, and he's earned it, man. But I've got to drink with him a few times, and man, he's, no matter what, the guy's really done good. You know, he's done good for himself. And let me tell you the story real quick how I met him. So he jumps out of the car in Sturgis, and he runs over out of the middle of the street on LaSalle, and he comes up to that engraved bike. It's green, and he goes, oh, man, how much for this bike? I go, and I don't give a shit, dude, at this point. I go, it's not for sale. And then he goes, can I sit? And he had these heart-shaped glasses on, bro. And I said, not with those glasses. So he hands his glasses to that big Russell dude and sits on it. So then he gives me his cell number, and he goes, just ask your buddy if he'll sell it. So I talked to Fred. Fred goes, fuck, sell it to him, whatever. So I tell him $60,000. He sends me back a text 40. So I send him this picture that will burn your eyes out. You cannot unsee it. I mean, you can never get it out of your head. And I figured that's the end of Richard Rollins. He texts back, "Whoa," and we've been friends ever since, dude.
That's gonna do it right there. That
right?
That text.
I mean, this picture, I can't. You guys would disconnect on the show if I told you how bad it was. It was foul. It'll burn your eye sockets out. But anyway, everybody gets it.
Right on, man. Well, listen, I want to tell you how much we appreciate you coming on, and
anytime.
We're gonna keep feeding that stuff on social media. I want to get you back on and talk about some of the specifics once you get some of these things under your belt and people become more aware of it, and give them a chance to interact with you. So definitely stay in the loop with us. Definitely,
I'd love to
head over to Dirty Bird's Facebook, man, and get those notifications so you can get notified when he puts a new show.
Yeah, if you just go like Flippin' Dirty Bird, super easy. Just hit like or follow, and then that's it. Every time a promo comes up or something, and same with my Dirty Bird Concepts page. Anytime something comes on there, you'll see it. And we're going to start doing a bunch of giveaways and all kinds of stuff. You know, it's going to be great, man. I appreciate everybody that's following, and if you don't like me, well, that's cool too.
Right on, man. Well, again, thank you so much for everything with this and with the help with the T-Bike, and here's to your success, baby.
Hey, anything you guys need, man, you guys are the best.
Right on. All right, we'll talk to you soon, John.
Hey, one more thing. I got to do a shout out to Sideshow Cycles, man. He had a lot of hand in that Dirty Tail, baby. That guy.
He helped me with it. Hell yeah.
Yeah, we got to give Sideshow some props. If you guys go on Facebook and Instagram and look up Sideshow Cycles and like him, he's the real deal, man. This guy, he's been building choppers and all kinds of stuff all his life. He's my very good friend, man.
Yes, sir.
All right,
man. Well, we'll talk to you again soon.
Okay.
Thanks,
love
John.
you guys. Bye.
He's a good dude. So hey, this is Chris coming to you from the Russ Brown Motorcycle Attorney Studios with Shop Talk every Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We do this little thing, 90 minutes of all the bullshit we can fit. Hope you guys are digging the show. You can help us continue this by hitting the little like button, getting the notifications when we go live. We do encourage you to be more than an observer here. Make some comments. We'll throw it up over here on the side, and if that's not good enough, we always bring Heather in from time to time so she can talk shit for you.
It's hard to keep up with them tonight. They're just coming in and coming in and coming in.
I'm watching the comment box. It's crazy.
And like every time a new one comes in, for some reason, mine scrolls back up. So I have to go all the way back down to the bottom. So if I missed you, I apologize. I did post links to both Flippin' Dirty Bird and John's Facebook page in the comments section, so you can just go there and click it. And it will bring you there. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet, only because we've been so busy. I'm looking forward to it. Although my only hesitancy is I'm going to be like, I want that. I want that. I want that. Honey, can I have that
truck right off the bat?
Yeah. It's actually almost a little too shiny for me.
So our guest co-host tonight is Patrick Garvin from JP Cycles. We're super, super lucky that he had the time to do this with us, because this is a true professional. You guys see us bungle through this show every week, and this is a man that does this amazing media creation for a living, and he's added to our conversation here tonight. So we appreciate that.
I really appreciate you guys reaching out to me. Like I said, I'm full of a lot of hot air, so that's pretty much my whole resume. So that's just what I'm at.
Let's take a minute before we go on to the next segment and talk about your you have a regular media offering that you're doing now.
Yeah, it's something we always had a blog kind of at JMP, and then it got a little dormant, but man, we really put a lot of effort into this new thing. It's called Countersteer, and I hesitate to call it a blog. It's more of an information hub, man, and there's all kinds of stuff on there. It's kind of categorized into lifestyle stuff, how-to stuff, what we call Moto 101. And it really, for me personally, it gives me another, like I need another creative outlet, but it gives me another creative outlet to kind of go on there and, I enjoy writing stuff and just kind of get my thoughts out. And we really want to encourage people to engage on that, man. If you don't like something I say, or if you do like something I say, come on there. I'll argue with you.
Oh, I love it. I actually look at it almost a couple times a week since you told me about it. And I can't wait to read the biker cosplay dressing the part.
Yeah, that was the one I just wrote, and we kind of touched on that earlier, but I think and we all know the whole deal. It's not just the old school bikers that kind of what I call dressed like, biker in a boxer. I think I referred to him in the article as an extra from Pirates of the Caribbean. But I mean, everybody's got it, right? Like all the niches. Yeah. You got the Power Rangers and the Uber hipster kids. Like I said, I think I referred to them as something like
Uber sport biker.
But the hipster guys. I think I said it looked like somebody riding a penny farthing had a baby with a barista. Like
I've been calling them mustache waxers lately.
Oh yeah, there you go. But I spared no expense. I went after everybody.
No, it's great. Like tell you, a couple years ago, Chris and I were at Vegas Bike Fest, and this big, huge, decked out big wheel bagger comes rolling down the street, playing its own theme music.
No, wait a minute.
All right, yeah, you tell the story better. Go ahead.
Just stop.
All right, fine.
Because it was so much more than that.
Yeah, you tell it way better.
First of all, I have to say, this is nothing disrespectful to big world bagger guys, because I believe, and I've always said this, those guys have their own culture. They're not pretending to be somebody else's culture. That's their thing, man. They dress how they dress. They build bikes like they build bikes. Listen to the music they listen to. That's awesome, right? That's their thing. Might not be my thing. God bless. Yep. This guy rolls around the corner. He has a helmet on that looks like
the Predator.
The Predator. He has giant dreadlocks, and he's on this great big motorcycle, and it's playing motion picture soundtrack music. So he turns the corner, dude, and it goes dun 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 dun, and I'm like, you have taken this shit to an unhealthy level, right? So he backs into the curb, and the motorcycle goes.
Oh yeah.
And he gets off, and the music's still playing, dun 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 dun, and flips the helmet off, and the dreadlocks stay. And I swear to God, I expected to see that skull thing underneath, that he was actually the Predator.
Oh, that's great. And you know what? That's kind of the point of the article at the end, is that don't get shoehorned into it just because you like a certain type of bike. Don't get shoehorned into like that, thinking you have to be that. Go ahead and let the freak flag fly, man. If you want to ride an Ironhead chopper and have a fluorescent green road racer jacket, you do you, man.
That's right. It was far out for me. So Mark Velasquez kindly reminds me that's the time that I got a $1,000 ticket that was 24 inches long in Vegas.
Holy God. Yep. It was like a grocery list of a ticket.
Oh yeah, I wore it on my media badge for the rest of the weekend. It was so impressive.
And it took 3 hours and 3 task force to get the ticket. Yeah, it wasn't a good day.
So who did you violate?
Mostly my 49 Panhead, but I couldn't explain that to the cop because I was in 6 lanes of Vegas traffic, and my 49 Panhead, that's jockey shift foot clutch with an SU carburetor, in that heat, in that intense heat in traffic, it got vapor lock. So I'm in 6 lanes kicking this thing. When it started up, I hit the throttle on that thing, man, and I did 150 miles an hour through town, past cops, like.
Well, and the cop was
was completely irresponsible.
But he was not happy because he couldn't catch said 49 Panhead chopper.
Yeah.
So when he did catch us, we were off the bike, had our helmets off, standing there waiting for him. And he's like, "Where's the owner of this motorcycle?" And we're like, right here. Hi.
See, that's the downfall of having a unique motorcycle. You could have just been like, "Who's the owner of the Black Street Glide?" And then you would have been in the clear.
Like, that guy. Yeah.
Yeah. But he said to me, "You're going to kill yourself." I said, "No, I did okay."
And I think at one point the words came out of Chris's mouth, "I'm going to teach you a lesson in motorcycle rights today."
Well, that's a whole other story, because he was going to tow my motorcycle because it didn't have a VIN number on the frame.
It was a 49 Panhead.
And I said, "Listen," I said, "you're not towing this motorcycle." And up to that point, I was very, "Yes, sir. I understand, sir. It was completely my fault, sir. You have every right to write me a ticket. I apologize. This is what happened." But then when he said, "I'm going to tow that bike," I said, "Yeah, you're not going to tow that bike." I said, "What you're actually going to do is you're going to get a lesson in motorcycle vehicle registration. You're going to learn about that today." And that's when the gang task force and, special vehicles. It was awesome.
And then he was really pissed when we ended up getting invited to dinner by the chief of the Special Vehicles Task
Oh, that's
Force.
wonderful.
He was like, bitch and panhead, dude.
That was literally, he came up and slapped the ticket on Chris's chest and stomped away with his little
that's
stormtrooper
wonderful.
boots.
Well, let's get back on track. We have some product stuff to take a look at real quick, and then we're gonna jump into another guest. So, this is some stuff coming in from our friends at Lowbrow. Those guys are too much. So, did you recognize the shape of that banana tank, honey? It looks an awful lot like a cut down Super Glide tank, doesn't it?
yeah.
I'm wondering. I want to see one. I want to see one up close and have it in my hands. But I had made one for that Bored to Death a while ago. I always loved the side profile of that, but they're always too fat, and like skinnying that thing down is the trick.
Looks a little skinny. I think ours
Yeah.
is a little skinnier, a little narrower. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I don't know. We'll have to get one. We'll have to get them to send us one, and we can check it out here live on the air. Ray, man, so great to see you here all the time. Ray mentioned earlier that he's coming in from Mendo. Daryl Huxell, thank you. He said killer show. Drew Woodford is urging me to continue on with the Vegas story, but that's enough for tonight. A little bit at a time.
We'll tell you later how he ended up with a bench warrant.
That was totally Heather's fault. Totally Heather's fault.
All right, we're late. We have to call Cory Mroz.
So our next guest for the hour and our last guest for this show is an incredible pinstripe artist himself, an all-around artist, Cory Mroz, affectionately known all across the land as Mr. Oz. Cory and a bunch of his artist buddies do this thing called the Brushmasters Getaway, and has agreed to come on the show tonight and give us a little talk about it. So we're going to go to the phones.
Hello.
Cory, what's up, man? You're live on ShopTalk.
I'm good. How are you guys?
Good, buddy. I'm sorry we're a couple minutes. Actually, we're only 1 minute late. We're doing good today.
You are right on time.
You get a gold star.
So, dude, you are one of my favorite artists. No matter if
I
it's
appreciate that.
no matter if it's with the brush, with the spray gun, like you're incredible. And when I found out that you were the driving force behind this also incredible effort to match artists with would-be artists and other artists and have an artist retreat for people in the custom world, man. This is a killer thing. Tell everybody about Brushmasters.
It is crazy as fuck to put on. It is fun though. It's a workshop that we do, and this is the third one coming up. It's in Paonia, Colorado, June 5th through the 8th. And basically we teach our craft, we teach our trade, and we invite a lot of different artists coming from all over the world each year to teach their craft as well.
Now, you guys have, obviously I mentioned Darren McKeag because Darren's a good long-term friend of ours with the magazine and the show. Tell me some of the other people that end up joining you in on this.
So each year we mix it up a little bit. We bring new people in and just kind of switch it up. But I think this year we have Steve Gibson, Air Oil and Lead on Instagram. Brush and Pin Studio. She's a sign painter out of Australia. We have Josh Culver. He's paints a lot of lowriders in Louisville, Kentucky. Buck Wild. Which
right on.
Most of you all know. Let's see, Jim McShay is the Gravedigger painter, and he's down in Bradenton, Florida. We have, someone's going to get pissed if I forget their name.
I posted a link to the website, so if people really want the full list, they can take a look.
Okay.
We'll let you off the
Beth
hook on
Kearney
that.
out of Little Dame. She's out of Colorado. Darren, myself, Olivia Cook. She paints for MTI in St. Louis. Taylor, Top Shelf Signs. He's out of Detroit, Michigan. Also another sign painter that comes in. Right on. And Kyle Execution Style from Jersey. And Vanessa Power from Dublin, Ireland. She's another sign painter.
Well, let's talk for a minute about how this actually goes down. I mean, is there a real structure to it that where you have, certain seminar times and, example artwork, or is there, more like a panel jam, or how does it go down?
So it's kind of loose as far as format wise. We definitely, we have classes and scheduled times where we teach certain things, like from 5 to 8 or whatever will be gold leafing but as far, we go well into the night, so I think last year we were going until like 6 o'clock in the morning. I mean, Gene Winfield was teaching attendees how to blend at like 1 o'clock in the morning with a cell phone light.
No kidding.
91 years old.
Wow, dude.
Yeah. So it's the energy there is incredible, and we try to stick to a lot of the times and try to structure it, but it's also a very we don't want it like a typical classroom format. So
you want it to be organic.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely.
So how skilled should someone be to attend this event?
You can have no skills at all. I mean, you can.
Oh, I qualify.
I qualify.
There's actually people that come that have never, touched anything. They're just they're into art and they like art and they just they see it pop up and sign up and.
Yeah, actually, Chris, this would be a great program for you.
I would love to go to this. I would love.
You should come.
Dude, I so want to.
I think it would maybe fit our schedule.
You don't understand. I have this obsession with someday I want to be considered a real artist. And I think to be a real artist, you have to be able to work with any media that you put your hands on. So I've tackled engraving and, like pencil, Connie crayons, colored pencil, oil paint, all of that. I have for years been trying to make nice lines with one shot and a brush, and it is kicking my ass. I would love to come to this thing.
Yeah, you should come out. It's on the way to Born Free, as far as time schedule wise. And I don't know if you guys get out to that event, but
it's actually right before Laconia for us. So you could fly in, fly out.
There you go.
I'm just
Come
saying.
on down, Chris.
And I'm looking at your packages for all that you offer, which is incredible because I looked at your schedule too. Your rates are fantastic.
They are.
It's incredible that you can put all this together with such skilled artists.
Yeah, it's definitely hard. I mean, there's definitely a silver lining in what we do, but it's a lot of work, for months for me and a few others. We work on it for months.
It's cool that you don't have to have any experience. I am not an artist whatsoever. I mean, and kind of like what Chris said, it's it's something you kind of fantasize about being able to do something like that, and the fact that it's not out of the realm of anybody's reach is awesome.
Yeah, that's kind of something that we really wanted to focus on at the beginning when we were kind of planning all this out, is like to really kind of expose the craft to people that don't know about it or haven't tried it yet. And for a lot, you get an appreciation for what time that it takes and the skill set that it takes to actually do these paint jobs. And it kind of, I feel like, we're kind of raising the value on our own market as well. So.
Absolutely.
100%. I mean, I think especially with, you guys have such, awesome Instagram accounts, but you make it, especially when you're so good at something, you make it look really, really easy. And in a weird way, that can almost kind of devalue it. If some people get an idea of how hard it really is, they understand, the value in it.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. A lot of people see things on social media, and it's like, it's like anything else. It's like bike builds. You see the finished product, and it's like it's the glitz and the glam of things. And
yeah.
People don't realize it's like hours and hours of wet sanding, and
Yes, sir.
I always tell people if you want to be a custom painter, you gotta be a professional wet sander first. It's like 90% of your job is going to be wet sanding.
Hey,
That's awesome.
And here's another one. You want to be a custom painter? Go over on the wall and draw me a picture with this tape.
yeah.
Then come back.
And there's a lot of people that out there that are incredible at, like Steve Goodson that's coming this year with air, oil, and lead. I mean, that guy is just incredible at freehanding anything. Was just with an airbrush, and it's so real at the end of it. The talent level that comes it's unreal. And I get to learn things every year, and we all do. So it's, for us too, it's really cool. We actually all, every instructor will sit down and take, the other instructor's class, and we're all there to learn.
I just pulled up his Instagram page.
Yeah.
He is incredible.
Who's that?
The air,
Steve
oil,
Gibson.
and lead. Yeah. Holy cow.
I know.
Wow.
Yeah.
We'll put a link up.
He
for
actually
everybody
came
else.
from like I think an acrylic background. He did a lot of like canvas paintings and stuff.
Incredible.
How
He's
often does that
awesome.
happen with artists, kind of like changing mediums? I know Chris mentioned Darren McCaig, and both Chris and I have known Darren for a really long time, and kind of watched Darren over the years. Really, when I first met Darren, man, that was a long time ago. Just basically a tattoo artist, and he's kind of grown across a lot of platforms now, and just an all-around great artist. How often does that happen with artists where they kind of go from platform to platform?
I feel like it happens pretty often, just because I think we're all a little crazy, to be honest. So I think there's that bug in your head that's like, you got to do something else. Like, I gotta create this or whatever.
That's it. That right there. That word, create. Yeah. There's something inside of you that that's what I said earlier about the, to be a real artist, you have to be able to create something with any media. If somebody hands you a steel pipes, you look at it and go, man, you know what I could do with that? That creation molecule is an incredible driving force.
It definitely is.
And for me, who is not artistically inclined, I can sit for hours and watch people create art. Like when Chris paints, I can sit for an entire day and watch him paint, just in awe. And I'm like that with anybody. We went to our friend Casey Kennels, and I could just sit and watch him create his masterpieces all day. There's something so amazing about it.
Yeah, that was me growing up was like, that was my thing, was like, I would see an artist at like a car or bike show or something and be just mesmerized and like, how are they doing that? And then when I saw someone pinstripe, it was over. I was like, that's it right there.
I'm doing that.
Yeah.
Well, listen, what can you tell us about people getting information on how to watch the different things that are going on, how to, where to get in the door to participate in Brush Masters? Give everybody the lowdown.
So if you want to sign up and take the class, just go to our website, www.brushmastersgetaway.com. We try to keep up with all the content on Instagram, and it's just Brushmasters Getaway. And anybody that wants to come and learn a little bit about sign painting, gold leafing, airbrushing, pinstriping, lowrider graphics, doing different panel type of graphics over flake and stuff like that. Come out and give it a shot. Even if it's not for you in the end of it, then you walk away meeting incredible people and really networking with a lot of great people in the industry.
Dude, I need that piece on applying leaf. I need that like really, really bad right now too.
What's that?
I've never applied my own leafing. Whether it's gold leaf, silver leaf, like I've never done it myself, and I sit and I watch guys do this stuff, and I'm just completely enamored with it.
Yeah, it's a very interesting process. It's really a lot about timing.
Yeah.
Timing is everything with gold leaf. And I actually watched Gene Winfield try it for his first time at this past Brush Masters. and for him just to sit down and like, you know, watch someone of that caliber. I mean, he had to know. He had to figure it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get it. Gold leafing is very it's a really cool thing to apply to paint jobs.
So what about for you personally? What do you have coming up as far as events that you're going to be at? I know we just ran into you at the Boogie East show during Daytona, and you know, you're one of the hardest people to keep up with. You're more active than us. I think damn near Michael Lichter. Right?
I don't know. I always see you guys loading up the van. I'm like, fuck, man, how do they do it? Gives me a heart attack just watching you sometimes.
The hustle's real, baby. The hustle's real.
It is.
I want to figure out how you can go to this.
I'll be at Born Free. Well, I think will be the next event. Besides Brushmasters, I'll obviously be there. So the next few months, it'll be a lot of paint work for Lichter's show, actually.
Yeah.
So I'll be doing that for the next month or two.
Yeah, man. A lot of people are busy right now with that show. I was talking to Will Ramsey, and he's got, I think, 3 frames he's working on for Lichter bikes, for Builders for Lichter's thing.
Wow. That's incredible to put a format out there that, I mean, you know, just to put a show on like that, and look how many jobs he's created.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's what it's about for sure.
So real quick, Cory, Tim Kearns would like to know if there will be any videos available after the fact that they can watch from Brushmasters if they weren't able to make it, or will you be able to do any of those lessons on video or anything like that?
We actually, so we tried to do that last year, but because the Brushmasters getaway, it's like, so our thing at the beginning was kind of being remote places, and now it's branding. We gotta roll with it, and that's kind of the point of it. So it's really hard to get service. So
yeah,
I'm not totally sure. I know we are filming this year. I've been working with a few different videographers, and so we should be filming it and hopefully making a documentary if all goes well.
Oh, that would be outstanding.
Well, here we can go on the record as saying if you have some clips, you know, 30-second, minute-long clips that you put together at the end of that, we'd be more than happy to pass them along to guys like Tim when you get back from Brushmasters.
I appreciate that.
Yes,
definitely. Sir. Yeah, we're really going to try to focus on getting some good film footage. That's one thing with the, you know, back in the day, you never had to do that kind of shit. Now it's like a must.
Yeah, man.
Well, make sure you keep us posted and keep sending us updates, because we'll keep getting the word out there for you. People still have, a month or so to register? It's the first weekend in June 5th through 8th?
Yeah, June 5th through the 8th. And, if you sign up before May 1st, Darren just today, he's going to be giving a free tattoo away.
Wow.
To anyone that signs
I
up
might sign up
May
just
1st.
for that. I've been
Right?
waiting to get Darren to tattoo me for years.
That's what I said. How the fuck do I sign up?
Right on, man. Well, listen, thanks for taking the time to come on with us tonight. And you guys can all keep track of Brushmasters and everything that Mr. Oz is doing by staying involved with the channel here, because we will surely have him on some more. Like I said, he's one of my favorite artists on the planet. I'm a big fan. I'd like to say that if not this one of the very next Brushmaster opportunities, you can probably see some live stuff of me going there and doing this, because this cat has some knowledge that I want to get. So.
Oh, you have to come out.
Right?
Yeah, you have to. Bring Seth, man.
Yeah, right.
I miss hanging out with that dude.
I didn't realize you knew Seth. We were just trying to get a hold of him today.
Yeah.
I think
we have some crazy stories, me and him.
I love Seth. He's one of my favorite people. Who doesn't have a crazy story with
Listen,
Seth?
and I always say about Seth that he's an unwilling participant in his own life at times.
Yeah. Right.
Dude.
That's like the artist curse, I think.
Oh, he's a hot mess, dude.
Cory, next time we're together, because it's not appropriate for the air, make sure that we tell you the story about the night Seth got married.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, you won't believe it.
Yeah. Nope.
Yeah, I gotta hear this one. I
It's
have
good.
a good one from Mountain Fest, like
Yeah.
way back in the day too.
All right on, man. Well, listen, again, thanks for coming on. Everybody go check out Brushmasters and definitely Cory's work on his social media. Heather's putting up links for you guys to check it all out. And
Up and done.
we appreciate you, man.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thanks for having me on.
Okay, brother. Talk to you soon.
All right, you guys have a good night.
Thanks, Cory.
Yeah.
The show is rocking right along. Look how quick an hour and a half goes, dude, right?
I know. Patrick,
That's
I have to tell you, my mother just texted me. And if you ever watch the show, you know my mother is our greatest fan and biggest critic.
And biggest critic.
And she just texted me and said, Patrick is awesome. So.
You made the Judy cut, dude.
You made the Judy cut. That's
Judy
pretty
cut.
impressive.
My work here is done.
Oh God. Well, listen. Let's rock through a couple things here real quick. We're late in the hour. We appreciate you guys being with us and giving us this extra time. The Realities Ride is right around the corner, May 26, 2019. Thunder Mountain Harley Davidson. We're coming out. Actually, gonna do some cool stuff with you guys. We appreciate you having us out for this and our first bike games at the Realities Ride. Saturday, May 25th.
This will be our first show in Colorado.
Yeah.
At all. So I'm excited about that.
Also on Saturday, earlier in the day, we're going to open up the gates with the bike show. And by the end of the day, I'm not sure of the location yet, but we're not the end of the day that day, the day before. We're doing the kickoff party with one of the first live Shop Talk events. So we're going to have this whole studio set up there. Everybody's invited to come out. We're going to be doing the show live. We're going to have a bunch of you guys come on to talk. So going to be a really cool time for Realities Ride. Also coming up in short order is our bike show at the Roadhouse during Laconia. We have bike games there as well. Roadhouse last year was off the hook. That we did our full Grease and Gears garage stage for the whole week. We had it packed with builders, lots of cool stuff going on there. And we did bike games. And dude, you would think, Patrick, for like the oldest rally in the country to do motorcycle games like barrel roll and slow race and stuff, you'd think that like everybody there knew, it was like old hat. Yeah. They were amazed. They were like, dude, what is this?
I've been telling people to bring those back everywhere. Like nobody does them anymore.
And it drew a crowd. I bet you we had 600-800 people standing there with us all afternoon, just like.
Oh, when we do them in Lone Star Rally, thousands of people will sit there and watch for hours, and we have to shut down registration because they just all want to participate. It's so much fun.
You miss a call. You miss a call with one of those guys, a fist fight will break out like right now. No shit. Anything with the name rodeo on it in Texas, man. You can't screw around with the Texas rodeo. Nope.
I haven't been to either one of those events in a couple of years. I need to make a return trip to both of them, to Laconia and Lone Star.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Laconia is one of our favorite stops. Of course, that's where, that's Heather's stomping grounds. That's where she grew up. So we get to visit the grandkids and all that. Last couple things in the news. The Buffalo Chip, man. Dee Snider announced that the Buffalo Chip is off the hook this year. Like you were just saying this, how that, on the inside of the industry, this is a year that you would perceive as a down year for Sturgis. Yeah. But not at the Chip, right?
I tell you what, man, Woody, Damon, and Lon, they are bringing the heat. You kind of just expect, okay, well, they're done. They have a stacked lineup. No. I mean, I love those guys. They do so much awesome stuff. But I'll be a patron this year. I'm definitely going to Zach Wilde, Snoop Dogg, Dee Snider. I'll be that. Yeah, you'll find
Snoop
me being
Dogg,
around
dude.
there.
Snoop Dogg at the Buffalo Chip.
Right.
That's batshit crazy.
That's super crazy. How many guys have you told 5-10 years ago? Yeah, they're going to get Snoop Dogg at the Buffalo Chip.
Oh my God.
I can't wait.
So we do want to mention a word of thanks to the Buffalo Chip because they've just recently signed on to carry the feed for us every week. They're a media partner of Shop Talk, supporting what we do, and have helped us right from the very beginning with this thing. We really appreciate them. I kind of get the impression, though, that this is sort of a sign of the times. Like as much as we say Michael Lichter's gallery showing in Sturgis every year sets the tone, and identifies where we're at as a custom culture. I think Sturgis really sets the tone, of where we're at and where we're going. And you've watched over the years now, going back and forth between the Buffalo Chip and Michael Ballard's place and the Iron Horse. Like, they're getting more progressive and more progressive. I can remember back in the days of the Limpnicky lot, we were constantly bitching because, it was all, music to cater to the baby boomers, man. We couldn't get any heavy metal. We couldn't get any different kind of music. And now it's just like the gates are wide open.
I mean, you mentioned Limpnicky lot. You guys were way ahead of your time. You know what I mean? Like, how good would the Limpnicky lot go over now? You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's funny that you say that. We're working on something.
That's great. I mean,
wait a minute.
Just to tag on to the chip thing, we're doing some stuff with them during rally, and I don't know if I should spill the beans or not, but I will.
We won't tell.
We're going to do a Hooligan Hill Climb.
Nice.
No.
Yeah. So we're basically going to keep same rules as hooligan racing. We don't want any alcohol burning Norton 9-foot long bikes out there with paddle tires. We want basically street tire or street bikes. You can put a knobby on the back. I don't care if it's a bagger, Sportster. Bring it. We're going to race up a hill at the chip.
Yeah, I'm coming out for that. One of my favorite events last year, of all was Sturgis, and we did a bunch of cool shit that I had a great time with. One of my favorite events was Burt Baker's all out to go, or all in to go all out. And it was just Burt and a bunch of his friends took over the drag strip and invited everybody to come and rip ass.
It's the best. Those are the best type of events.
Yeah, man.
Yep. 'Cause that's what we all want to do, right? We just want to hang out with our buddies and do stupid shit with our motorcycles.
Right.
When are the hill climbs going to be?
Go ahead.
When are those hill climbs going to be?
I don't want to butcher the date. It's either. Man, Damon's going to kill me.
That's right. You can get back to us. We'll post it as soon as you post it.
I want to say it's Tuesday or Wednesday because we just talked about this the other day.
Oh, it can't be Wednesday. It can't be Wednesday.
What's Wednesday?
Wednesdays are run to the line.
Well, we can be back in time for that.
All right. I just can't miss it.
It's the same day. It's right after Lead Sled Sportster Show.
That's Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Sweet.
So, one of the last items we want to get to here, and it's literally because we've been talking about this, till our noses bleed, but the electric motorcycle revolution goes on. The thing that's interesting about this, so, it was just announced through the same, patent leaks that we learned so much about the different manufacturers that Kawasaki has plans now to release an electric Ninja. Okay, no big deal. Everybody's doing it. Between motorcycles and bicycles, everybody's making electric everything. But what's been discovered through this patent is that there's a small part of the tubular frame that is going to be detachable, and it would appear from this that there's a little rack where the battery can slide out. A second fully charged battery could then presumably be installed in its place. So this is kind of new technology from a manufacturer. While everybody's jumping on a bandwagon, it looks like Kawasaki has taken advantage to answer the question, but how does that work long term? Well, this is the first good answer that we've seen.
Yeah, and on this show, you guys have talked a lot about electric motorcycles and infrastructure and things like that, and we touched on it before. And maybe this is a little bit of a workaround to the infrastructure problem, right?
Yeah.
I mean, having another battery is definitely helpful.
Yes, sir. Yeah, there's no denying it. I mean, we keep going back and forth about the fact that there's people that just are never going to accept the differences in electric motorcycle. There's obviously challenges to get the whole world ready to accept it, and even more than that, the industry, because it has to be stable for the economy of what the industry is. But with the combination of the electric revolution show going on at the Peterson, and Eric Buell is launching a new effort this week called Fuel, where he's coming out with an electric bicycle and motorcycle at the same time. The presence of the electric revolution is undeniable.
Yeah, I mean, I tell you what, I don't know if they'll ever be able to replace, the rumble of an engine or anything like that. But what draws me to it, just being, I'm a performance guy. I want to go fast, and just looking at what some of the electric cars are able to do. Some of the crazy Teslas out there that can just stomp, Porsche GT3s and stuff like that. I want that. You know what I mean? Like, I want that in a motorcycle. I want a lightweight electric motorcycle that gets 100% torque at 1 RPM and wheelies out of corners. And I can only imagine the electronics, how much more controllable you could make an electric bike with, as far as the traction controls and this and that. It would I think it'd be so much more tunable than even the gas bikes with all the electronics. So I for one hope it really happens. Give me that quick change, or a quick charge station, Elon Musk. Make it happen.
Right. Well, I'll tell you what, man, like years and years ago, and I bet you it was 8 years ago when I saw my first electric motorcycle tackle the Bonneville Salt Flats. And when I watched that thing leave the line and how quickly it accelerated, I was like, because when it first got there, I was like, how about this? Johnny Sparkplug over there with his electric motorcycle, and we were kind of making an ass out of it. But man, when that thing took off, it was no joke no more. Like it was on. So
they can be very impressive, man. Like I'm up for any of that stuff. Like I hope it keeps progressing. Like I think they're just a little bit out there just yet. We're talking about this. I think in the urban areas they're probably closer. Places where I live, they're probably just a little bit farther away yet. But it's got to start somewhere.
Yeah. Yep. Well, man, do me a favor and tell everybody how to get the latest and greatest from JP Cycles and what you guys have coming up that they should be looking for.
Go to JP Cycles, and right on the right-hand part of the screen, you can go to the link for Countersteer or just jpcycles.com/countersteer. Obviously, our social media we're rock and rolling all the time with that. We promote everything on there through our Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube channels. And the truck is in full swing. Speaking of events, they will be in Laughlin very, very soon. And myself and my videographer, Steve, we are heading to EDR, and I will be on that FTR 1200.
Right on. And obviously, if you guys aren't hip to it, every month you can catch Patrick in a column where he brings tech tips, he brings tricks, he brings, advice for everything from tear down to build up to getting ready for the season. Like, great part of the magazine he brings in every month. And man, I'll tell you what, you're on the hook now. Because you just did this show like it was nothing, no sweat, nothing flat. You're on. Like anytime we're stuck, man.
We have a couple openings coming up that I'm going to be shooting you some dates on to see if you're available, Patrick.
Yeah.
I'm happy to do it. I got the A-OK from Judy, so I feel good about myself.
Hey, it took me a long time to get the A-OK from Judy, buddy. Let me tell you. I don't know.
I'm not
honestly,
sure if you
I still have it. Yeah. Let me remind you guys one more time that we are coming to you through the courtesy of the Russ Brown Motorcycle Attorney Studio. ShopTalk goes on every week, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, through a multitude of social media live. And then after the fact, you can catch us at motoshoptalk.com through podcast, through Apple, through Google, forever2wheels.com. That's forever2wheels.com. You can help this program keep going by sending your comments, your suggestions, your ideas for guests. Help make it better, and we'll do what you tell us to, because you're the boss, man. That's what's up.
One of the most important things that they can do to help us is hit that share button.
Yes.
Yeah, that's huge.
How were the shares tonight?
They were kind of sucky.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. We had great viewers, we had great comments, but the shares totally blew.
Were off the hook, dude.
Hey, if people don't know, the shares are key. I mean, you guys know, obviously, but that's what it is, especially in today's climate. I mean, a lot of these platforms suppress brands' pages because they want to pay for it and want you to pay for it, which that's all well and good. But to get that out there, I mean, you got to share it, man.
Yep.
Share is huge.
So help us, help you, help us, help you.
Yeah, we kind of dig doing this, so we'd like to stay doing it.
We love Shop Talk, man. It's a real blast. And one more time, I want to thank you guys for bringing us into your house, letting us into your headspace, and letting us share our part of the motorcycle world. So until next time, I'm Chris.
Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it. Patrick.
Heather.
We'll see you next week on Shop Talk.
See you guys.